Good morning, all of you. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to this class on Norman Conquest. In the last class, we discussed Old English period, especially Anglo-Saxon literature. This Old English period ended with the death of Edward the Confessor. And after the death, there was a competition for the throne. And Harold II assumed the throne. He became the king, but the king of Norway, Harold, he invaded England, and this Harold II, he actually faced two enemies. He had to face two other claims. One is this king of Norway, Harold, and William, the Duke of Normandy. And William, the Duke of Normandy, Normandy was a place in France. So William of Normandy, he invaded England, and at that point of time, Harold II was actually fighting with Harold, the king of Norway, and Harold could actually defeat the king of Norway, but he couldn't defeat William the Conqueror, William from Normandy, the Duke of Normandy. So in the Battle of Hastings in 1066 AD, this William of Normandy, the Duke of Normandy, he defeated Harold II and became the ruler of England. Is it clear? So you have to remember the date 1066 AD and the Battle of Hastings, when Duke of Normandy, William, defeated Harold II, and he became the ruler, and he assumed the title William the Conqueror. So this is the political background that you need to understand, keep in mind. And the most important thing, this is the Norman Conquest. This invasion of Duke of Normandy is called the Norman Conquest of England. And when this Duke of Normandy, William, assumed the throne, when he became the ruler, it actually impacted not only the society but the language and also the literature. So that is what we need to concentrate. So we'll be discussing that in the class, the impact of Norman Conquest. So what is Norman Conquest? That is the invasion of Duke of Normandy, William, and how he defeated Harold II in the Battle of Hastings and became the ruler of England. And when he came to England, he didn't come alone. He came with his nobles, he came with his soldiers, with his troop. And so what happened was, he actually dispossessed the English landowners and he gave the land to French nobles. English aristocracy was replaced by French aristocracy. Is it clear? And that impacted, that had a lasting impact on the English society. Moreover, he imported feudalism also. He introduced a feudal system. But at the same time, he didn't actually follow the feudal hierarchy, in order to check the power of the nobles. He introduced many laws and reforms, and that is one day we'll discuss those reforms in the course of this class. So first thing is, English aristocracy was replaced by French aristocracy, and that impacted the culture, the tradition, and the life of the English people as well. And coming to this feudal system of government, there will be feudal lords, nobles, who had power, who had troops with them, and who had large land holdings and so on. And some nobles were even more powerful than the king, and they used to conspire against the king, revolted against the king, causing civil wars. And William was aware of this situation. So in order to avoid this concentration of power and land among the nobles, he actually made certain reforms, and one is the introduction of Domesday Book. he made, it's a kind of a survey record, a document. He made a document of the land holdings of each people, land holding of the nobles, the tax that has to be paid, and everything was recorded, the sheep, the cattle, the money that they owed, and all those things, and it was made a record. He made a survey of it, and that is called Doomsday Book. The name is actually, it alludes to the doomsday, the judgment day, the final judgment day. In Christianity, during the final judgment day, the God will judge the good and the bad, good and the evil, and that judgment is final. It's accurate, and nobody can contest it. And that finality was there to this Doomsday Book. This survey document that this William the Conqueror introduced. So that is why the title Doomsday Book. And also he made another law, that is curfew law, which forbade nobles gathering together, nobles and other troops gathering together. So that also was to check the power of the nobles. And then he made people, the tenants, take an oath, to show loyalty to the king, oath of Salisbury, where these tenants were made to be loyal to the king alone and not to the nobles. And these are a few things that he made, the administrative changes that he made in the feudal system to check the power of the nobles. Not only that, he checked the power of the church as well. English priests were replaced by French hierarchy and French priests, and moreover, he introduced certain laws, certain reforms, saying that no papal bills should be passed without the consent of the king. So in order to check the power of the Catholic Church, he made all these reforms, and he forbade the clergy to marry. And these are, he actually created a centralized government. That was one very important thing that you need to know. Though he introduced all these things to check the power of the nobles, power of the church, because church had an authority over the king, even over the king. So he wanted to check the power of the church and also the nobles. And apart from this, we find the impact of this Norman influence in the language. Because when this French aristocracy was introduced into England, the language, the use of language changed. In the court, the aristocracy, the aristocrats, the king, they used French language. And in the church, Latin was the language. Latin was the medium of instruction. Latin was used. And only the common people used this Anglo-Saxon dialects, especially this English. So, 3 different languages were used at that point of time. French, the language of aristocracy; Latin, the language of the clergy; and English was the language used by the serfs and peasants. But later on, English gained importance with Geoffrey Chaucer and other writers. That we will discuss when we discuss Norman literature. So this is one thing. And English language was enhanced by French, it was English vocabulary was enriched by French vocabulary. Many French words crept into English language, especially words like mutton, pork, wheel. These were French. These were contribution of this Norman conquest. Like words like army, captain, lieutenant, duke, baron. All these words were borrowed from Norman French. So English language was enriched by French, by the Norman conquest. And not only that, even the literature was enriched by this influence of Norman conquest. The French metrical romances influenced the English literature, and in England also we will discuss that. There are metrical romances following or imitating French metrical romances. For example, this Arthurian legends, Arthurian romances, they were actually imitated. It's a kind of imitation of French metrical romances. So these are a few things which you need to remember when we discuss this impact of Norman conquest in England, in English literature, in England, like the impacts that you need to understand. One is about the political changes that happened in England, how the new feudal system was introduced, how the church was influenced, how language was introduced, how literature was enriched by French metrical romances, French literature. So these are a few things that you need to keep in mind before going to Norman literature or Middle English literature. And also, there is one more thing that you can add to this. That is how it's about the rise of towns. You know, with French aristocracy, French Jewish traders came, and London became a very rich town. And many towns came up, and rich towns which are economically forward was there. But at the same time, the villages didn't actually, they were economically backward. But with the presence of the French Jewish traders, towns, there were many towns which became economically forward, especially London. So these are a few things that you can keep in mind, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me, and we'll discuss this Norman literature shortly. Thank you.